Welcome back, everybody, to another banger video. And this is season 4 of the Retro Ground podcast. Our guest today is one of the original night markets in the San Fernando Valley. He recently started the 818 Card Show. He hosts this show once a month indoors for card collectors and enthusiasts. And in front of me, we have Brandon, the owner of the 818 Night Market. Welcome to the podcast, bro.
Thanks for having me, bro.
Let's go, man. All right, man. So, first question, man. For those that don't know where the 818 Night Market is hosted, where can people find the 818 Night Market?
So we have our mini market every Friday at Handbrewed Beer in Chatsworth.
All right.
We're going to try to lean into doing different themed events there.
Cool.
And then we're in Mission Hills every Saturday from 5 to 10 at Mission Hills Christian Church. And
Cool.
We're coming up on our 5-year anniversary pretty soon.
No way,
Yeah.
dude. Wow, that's awesome, man. So on top of the 818 Night Market, you have mini markets.
Yeah.
What are mini markets for those that don't know?
It's just a smaller curated event because the space we have at Handbrewed Beer is just their outdoor patio. So at our cap, we could fit maybe like 9 or 10 vendors there versus Mission Hills. Our cap is around 60 vendors.
60 vendors.
So
wow.
when we do our mini market events, it'll be 1 or 2 food vendors and then usually like 3 or 4 retail or snack-based vendors. So it's just a smaller selection of vendors paired with whatever venue that we're at.
Wow. What do you prefer better, the 818 Night Market or the mini market?
It depends because the thing I like about the mini market, it operates itself, so I don't have to be there every time. And when I do show up, I actually get more one-on-one time to conversate with each vendor, connect with them, have deeper conversations, learn about their business. Versus when me and my staff are running our main events on Saturdays, especially the days where we have like 40 or 50 vendors there, it's constant like bouncing booth to booth, answering questions, taking out the trash, cleaning the lot.
Man, I get it. How did the name come about, bro?
So
because now you have 818 Night Market, your main market, you have the mini markets, and then you have the card shows.
Yeah.
So you have 3 businesses, right?
Yeah.
How did the name come about, the main one?
So it actually didn't start out as 818 Night Market. I've been vending myself now for 9 years, and when I started vending, all the good shows for me was like downtown LA, downtown Riverside, downtown Santa Ana. The only things that were in the valley back then were like the occasional farmers market or like Grub Fest on Fridays, where they had like the food trucks on Chatsworth. And there was nothing kind of art walk based here at the time. Like there'd be like the occasional, like once every like 3 to 6 months, it'd be like the street fairs, things like that. But as far as like a regular art based event, there wasn't anything.
Got it.
So in 2018, we started the Mission Hills Art Circuit. And the goal with that was to kind of take artists that were traveling from like the valley, Palmdale, Simi Valley, like that were traveling to like downtown LA areas, and giving them a platform where they could connect with their local communities. We ran it for 2018, 2019, but it never picked up the steam that we wanted it to. So COVID hit, we had to put it on pause, and then I did a lot of research on marketing, what people were interested in, what they wanted out of events. And growing up in the Valley myself, I know how loyal people are to the San Fernando Valley, loyal to the 818. And we took influence from 626, but the difference with how we structured our event, so when COVID restrictions started lifting, we got back in touch with Mission Hills Church, got back in touch with them, and we're like, hey, we want to switch it over from being a once-a-month art walk to a once-a-month night market. So 2021...
So it started as once a month night market.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it started July of 2021, so this July will be our 5-year anniversary.
Wow.
And the more shows we did, the vendors like, hey, we want you to host more events. We want you to do more things. So that's kind of how the night market came to be about, just doing the research of what people wanted.
Yeah.
So when COVID restrictions lifted, we kind of had a little bit of everything. We had the food, the collectibles, the artists, clothing brands. So we welcomed everyone. And I think our timing was really good, too, because I took the time during COVID to study the marketing. But we were also the first event that reopened coming out of COVID in the Valley.
Yeah.
And people were eager to go out, having 818 in the name. So all of those different factors helped escalate our growth early on.
What was it called before?
Mission Hills Art Circuit.
Mission Hills Art Circuit.
Yeah.
But how did the 818, how did it come about? Just because it's 818?
Because our events were at nighttime. San Fernando Valley based.
Yeah,
so
818.
it made sense,
Yeah.
you know. And I needed to move it away from it being solely art focused to something that's more welcoming for everyone.
Yeah,
And
like
that's-
food, right? Yeah, coffee,
collectibles. That's where more of the
Yeah.
appeal comes in for people.
Was there any other name before 818 Night Market?
No,
Nothing else?
I just woke up one day and I was like, I want to bring back the events, but instead of the art fair, I was like, 818 Night Market. It
Yeah.
is.
Man, that's so cool. What inspired you to start it? I'm sure something sparked inside of you, bro.
Again, it was just came down to the fact that I've been vending so long myself.
Yeah.
And I was tired of those drives. Like my friends and family that lived here.
Yeah.
They're like, we want to support your business. We want to support what you do. Because I've been doing laser engraving since 2017.
Oh, wow.
And back then, everyone's like, we want to support what you do. We want to go to the shows you're at.
Yeah.
But we don't want to drive 2 hours in traffic to downtown LA or Riverside. So that was kind of my inspiration of just creating a platform here at home where my people could connect with me and what I'm doing. And I know other vendors wanted the same opportunity.
I see. What is a booth running about nowadays if someone wants to vend?
So it depends on which show it's for the ones that we do.
Like the mini market, what does it start off at?
Mini market, 6 foot spaces start at 35.
Okay.
Food booths start at 40. For the night market right now, retail booths could be anywhere from like 50 to 75.
Okay.
Our standard for the most part is 75 for a 10 by 10.
Yeah.
But for vendors that are with us a lot, vendors that do every single event with us, we do offer discounts for them. So we'll have like the month pass options.
Oh, wow.
So that's when they get it dropped closer to like the $40 or $50 per day.
Yeah.
But that's for the vendors that are locking in with us. They're with us every Friday, every Saturday.
Yeah.
Because the vendors that are there week after week, as the market builds, the market has its regular customers. And our goal is to have vendors with us that are also having their regular customers because it's a collaborative growth.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, man. Makes a whole lot of sense. And what about the card show, man? How much? What's the starting rate for that?
Same thing, 75 per space.
Okay.
Yeah, because in all of my years, cause I've been vending myself for 9 years, and I've noticed that 75 is kind of that sweet point.
Yeah. Where
the coordinator has enough to kind of like cover operation costs, cover promotion, cover staff, like all the operating costs of the event. And still have
and then still profit, right? You have to make profit. It doesn't make sense if you don't make profit.
Yeah, you have to be able to pay yourself because it's at the end of the day, it's a business too, and it takes a lot of time.
Yeah.
But there's other events I've seen, like if the booth fee is like only $25, me as a vendor, I question like, well, how are they paying for their permits? How are they paying for insurance? What if something goes wrong?
Yeah.
But then when booth fees start getting $100 to $300, the most I've ever paid for a booth myself was $7,000.
Oh my goodness!
I had a 10 by 20 double corner
that makes sense.
at the LA County Fair.
That makes sense.
You know, so it's like it takes time to scale to that point.
Yeah.
But for vendors that are just starting out, I feel like 75 is kind of that sweet point where they're willing to take the risk on it. Because like once you start hitting triple digits, other vendors can't afford it.
Yeah.
And since our event operates every Saturday year round right now, it helps vendors that are used to like the larger scale events where it's like they're doing like 626, LA County Fair. The vendors that are looking for the gaps to fill their schedule, they look for events like mine to fill the gaps. But then for vendors that are with me week after week, it's affordable enough for them to be able to maintain their businesses full time.
Yeah. Do you think that you get a lot of new like maybe like novice vendors who just start?
So when we get vendors, if they're telling us like, oh, this is
my first time.
If they're like, oh, this is our first event, we always do like a buy 1 day, get 1 day free.
Gotcha.
So it gives them that chance to start
their
business, test the waters. And I always tell everyone, like, you might not do good here. You might do better somewhere else. Because that's true. Like every area has a different demographic. The way
that's a good point of view. Yeah.
The way each person talks, the way they connect with people. Different areas have different demographics. Like even though like last year we were hosting events in Mission Hills and Granada Hills, those two locations are maybe like 10 minutes apart, but the demographic that lives in those neighborhoods is still different. So vendors would do good at one location and not at the other. That's what I always tell the vendors, like you got to test out different markets, go to different areas, because you never know where your demographic is until you've tested the waters out.
That makes sense, bro.
And plus, every week's different. Like things like weather, fights, sporting events affect foot traffic. Like if there's a big UFC fight on, I already know like 6 p.m. will get a little busy, but once it's 7:30, if there's a big UFC fight on, people get their food, they go home and watch the fight. You know, so when we get newer vendors that are just starting out, I'll tell them like, hey, we do the buy 1 get 1 free for you guys to test it out. because they might be showing up on one of those off weeks where
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
slower. And I want to make sure everyone gets like at least two chances to try out the event and see like
That's pretty
if
cool.
this is their demographic, or if it's
Yeah.
like a food vendor. If they're there 2 weeks in a row, it gives them a chance to start getting their regular customers.
Gives them a chance to build up, right?
Yeah.
Do you ever get vendors who get pissed, who don't sell even though you still give them the free day? They're like, dude, I didn't do. They get pissed off at you because they didn't make any sales.
So I've always tried to keep like good energy with the events, because
Yeah.
I believe like a good atmosphere, good energy, like
Yeah.
it reciprocates. Like things turn around for everyone that way. So whenever issues come up, if someone doesn't have a bad attitude, I tell them, I'm like, I'm not forcing you to be here. You chose to be here. You know, if they have a bad attitude, they don't have to come back. Like no hard feelings. At the end of the day, I want the vendors to go where's best for them. All I can say is if they tried out my market, if they didn't do good here, it's not their demographic.
Gotcha.
I don't control the demographic.
Yeah, of course. You can't really you don't we have no control of the area, like you said, demographic.
Yeah.
No, I completely agree with that. There's some places you'll do good, some places you won't do good.
Yeah, and
you
like
know?
some vendors show up, like Mission Hills is a very like family oriented community. You know,
Okay.
it's very diverse, but the demographic there versus if you're going on the other end of the valley, like let's say if you're heading more towards like Calabasas, Woodland Hills, the price points that people shop at might be a little bit different, you know? It's like vendors that have like $5 or $10 items will do good at certain locations. And then I've had vendors that show up and I'm like, they're like, oh, I didn't sell anything. And I'm like, well, you're selling items that are $200 to $300. And most people in this area, they're only looking to spend maybe $20. So it's like,
Yeah.
it's important for vendors
To
to
know.
have
Yeah.
price differences, to have different ranges.
Yeah.
Because then you're able to hit more demographics
Yeah,
when you have those
yeah.
different ranges.
Wow, that's really good, bro. Knowing that as a first-time vendor, yeah, you have to know. Yeah, I feel like you have to have the right price point, right?
Yeah.
And know you know your crowd, basically.
Yeah.
Right? Because if you don't know your crowd, dude, you're not gonna make any sales. And
Yeah.
sometimes I feel like as a good vendor, you have to know how to have customer service. You have to have great customer service.
Yeah.
If you don't, if you're just sitting there on your phone,
Yeah.
it kind of turns you off. You're like, I don't know that I want to be here. It's awkward for the customer,
Yeah.
and it's awkward for the vendor. It's like it's kind of awkward, period,
Yeah,
right?
there's been times where I've had vendors complain. They're like, oh, I didn't sell anything tonight. And I'm like, do you want me to pull up the footage of when I was recording the event? And they're like, what do you mean? And I tell them like, oh, like you were sitting at your booth, arms crossed, head down, looking at your phone. Like if I walked into your booth, you didn't greet me, you didn't say hi. So it's like
That's
at the end of the day, it's like,
that's some good knowledge.
because at one end, like, yeah, it's my job as the coordinator to promote the event,
course.
to draw in the foot traffic, but it's also on the job of the vendors to do the same.
Yeah.
They have to engage with the customers, like,
Yeah.
hey guys, how's it going? They have
Yeah.
to be welcoming.
Yep.
You know, because like if they're just sitting there waiting for people to approach them, like
Yeah.
that's not how it works.
Yeah.
If I'm shopping, especially if I have my daughter with me,
Yeah.
if I walk into a vendor's booth, if they don't even greet me,
Yeah.
I'm not going to spend my money there
Of
versus
course.
the guy that's like, hey, like cool hat, I like
Yeah.
your jacket.
Yep.
And that's what the vendors need to
Of
learn to
course.
understand too. It's like they can't be super pushy with
Yeah.
sales. Sometimes it's just about striking up that natural
Yeah.
conversation and
No.
connecting with people.
That makes a lot of sense, bro, because many times I've had people who just come to my booth.
Yeah.
They're not even thinking about buying a Pokemon pack. They're
It's
like,
a
I
claw
don't.
machine.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. They don't even care about it. They're like, they come in and I see like a Dragon Ball shirt they have,
Yeah.
or a Dodgers shirt. Like, hey, bro, that's pretty cool. You like the Dodgers? We spark up a conversation,
Exactly.
right? And they're like, look, man, I don't like Pokemon, but dude, I'm gonna buy a pack.
Yeah.
They open it, they rip it, like just give it to someone.
Yeah.
But it all started because of a conversation. So you have to be friendly. So I
Yeah.
think it's a 50-50, right? You set up the environment for the vendors,
Yeah.
but they also have to do their part, bro.
Yeah, and
You
I
can't
think-
expect people to like just go in there and start spending their money.
Yeah, and I
Yeah.
think that's where like a lot of vendors and coordinators need to start being on the same page for things, because it's like at the end of the day, like yes, I'm providing the space for them, and
Yeah.
a space for them to bring their business, but at the end of the day, it's a collaborative effort.
That's
you know?
true.
Because it's like yes, the market has its regulars.
Yeah.
Yes, the vendors have their regulars, but it's like the more we could bring those two together, the more everyone grows. Because then my regulars become your regulars and vice versa. Then everyone
makes
starts
sense.
doing better. You know?
100%.
And that even
man.
goes on to affecting other markets too, because like if a vendor's with me 1 week and one of my regular customers that comes to the night market every Saturday, if they like that vendor, but that vendor's setting up at like another event the next week, well, they might want to go check out that vendor. Then it helps out the other coordinator, and it's growth for everyone now.
Yeah, that makes sense, man. What are some of the things you dislike about running, like organizing the night market, bro, that you dislike, man?
I would say since the events are outdoors, like summertime is our peak season for foot traffic. People want to go out, they want to get out of the house, have family night. I hate the hot weather. But it's like I bite the bullet on that. I'm out there, like our event setup is from 3 to 5. The event runs from 5 to 10. But what a lot of the vendors don't see is me and my staff will get to the parking lot at 1 p.m. to start like coning off the lot, unlock the restrooms, plan the layout. And then at the end of the event, once the vendors are gone, me and my guys, we still clean up the parking lot. We clean the restrooms, take out the trash. Like we take care of the properties we're at.
Oh, wow.
It's like the latest I was ever there was one summer. I stayed there cleaning until 2, almost 3 in the morning. So it was a full 14-hour day at the event. And it was in the middle of summer too. So I'd say that's one of the worst parts. And then another worst part is just when people start arguing for no reason. Like
people as in like customers or vendors, between vendors?
Customers, vendors, like if you can name it, like I think I've seen it. Like there's been times where like there was one instance a few years ago, not at Mission Hills, this was another location we were working with at the time. There was 2 vendors. I put them next to each other. And this is like something where event coordinators, we have to like stay aware of like some of like the gossip and stuff that goes around.
That's crazy.
I hate saying it. There was one time someone's like, oh, you shouldn't have put those 2 vendors next to each other. And I'm like, why not? And they're like, watch what's going to happen. Well, there was an affair between the 2 couples. And the 2 women started physically attacking each other in between their booths. And I was like, all right, guys, you need to pack up your stuff. Both of you are leaving. And she's like, oh, like, but my husband this. And I'm like, that doesn't matter. At the end of the day, we're here to do business. Like, I can't tolerate that.
Oh, my goodness, bro. That's crazy, dude. I can't imagine, bro.
Yeah.
You don't have security, huh? Location?
So most of my staff,
or you do?
They have their guard cards.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
but I've never seen like someone wearing actual security.
No, sure. Like a few of my regular vendors, they have their guard cards. A few of my staff have their guard cards. So we do have security there, but we don't just publicly put it out there. Like
yeah. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, because I feel like nowadays you kind of have to have. I mean, is there security guard for the card shows? I didn't pay attention.
Some of my staff, I said, they have their guard cards.
So gotcha.
Like with everything going on.
Yeah, I was gonna say, especially with everything going on, bro. Yeah. Like, nah, man. Like, I think Pokemon themed nights, I think that probably has to go out the window, bro. The last thing you want is someone walking to their car with their binder, and someone pulling out a gun or something, or robbing them. So it's like it's very important to have security guard nowadays, right? Yeah, man. I can't imagine, dude. So. Yeah, you do have you always what do they say? The proof is in the pudding when it comes to a vendor. If they have a bad attitude, they're gonna have it everywhere they go. Yeah, bro. That's just a given, bro. Yeah, and that's just unfortunate, man, because it's a business, like you said. I'm not really. You have to be concerned about everyone else. Yeah. Bro. Everyone's here to make money. Everyone's trying to hustle. Everyone's trying to get their grind on, bro. Yeah. You just have to be considerate about that.
There's another issue that comes up a lot of times where it's some vendors have that like entitled attitude. So there's been times where like
vendors or just
vendors in general. Like certain vendors just have that entitled attitude, and I'll be like, "Oh, your spot's gonna be here," and they're like, "Why can't I set up there?" And there's already a vendor in that spot fully set up, and I'm like, "Well." They're already here. I planned the layout the night before the event. So, like, I've been doing this long enough where, like, I understand the flow of the foot traffic for our locations, where I do it where it stays balanced, Yeah. Especially because, like, we try to limit categories, but if people have somewhat similar stuff, or if they carry, like, some of the same products, like, I need to separate them. That makes sense.
Yeah, so it can't be, consistent.
So it's like, if I have 3 baked good vendors, but if I have, like, 1 collectible vendor, 1 jewelry, like, I need to use those other vendors to separate the baked goods from each other.
4 in a row. It doesn't make sense. Yeah, I get that.
So sometimes vendors have that entitled attitude where it's like, they're like, why can't I be in this spot? I'm like, because just... That you're going right here,
Yeah, that's crazy, dude. Well, what's your most sought after like spot, bro? At the 818, like who everyone wants that spot? Which one is it?
I would say it's always tends to be like the corner spots. People always want to be on the corner.
The one with the pole right there.
Yeah,
no way.
Because like that spot, like there's plugs for power there. But honestly, like some of the vendors that help me out more, they help me with like different things like behind the scenes.
Of course,
or they help me with foot traffic.
Yeah.
like I'll station the vendors that help me out with stuff in certain parts of the lot too, because then I have eyes on the whole event at all times. It's like that's another factor of it too. You know, that's something that a lot of people don't see, and most people don't look at like the back end. Like another issue we run into is a lot of times people come up to me, they're like, "Oh, you booked 40 vendors, you charged $75 a pop, you made $3,000 today." And
They're
I'm like,
counting your pocket.
and
That's
like,
crazy.
I'm like, I made 3,000 today. Like, please show me, because my bank account does not show that.
That's crazy,
like,
bro.
They just assume like, oh,
They start
it's all
counting,
profit.
right?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness,
they assume it's all
bro.
profit, but they don't see like some of the vendors. Like we run sales, like we have the month pass, so that's already a discounted rate there. We have to pay insurance. I have staff, so there's payroll involved. I have to rent the space. There's the cleaning supplies, maintenance. Promotion, like there's all these different costs,
marketing, that advertising, all that stuff. Wow.
So there's all the different costs on the back end, and most people don't see that. You know, there's the permitting, health department, fire marshal. There's all these different permits that we have to pull. Yeah. You know, and then there's the event supplies like trash bags, trash cans,
and then like, I'm sure they charge you, right, to dump the trash somewhere, right? Don't they charge you like a fee?
Trash disposal.
Yeah.
If the venue that we're at if we don't have access to the restrooms, then we have to do like the portable toilets, have them serviced. Oh, man. So it's like every little thing, it adds up so quick.
Of course, yeah. I get that.
Yeah.
Man, dude. So you would probably say, you know, like one of the things you dislike is the weather. Yeah. So you prefer winter?
Personally, I prefer winter because like I could always toss on another jacket. I could put on another hoodie. I could put on beanies. You know. But it's like me and my guys, we're moving around. We're walking the event. We're talking to the vendors. So it's like even in the winter months, like there's times where like some of the, like the older ladies, they'll be like, "Oh, mijo, you're not cold." And I'm like, "No." They're like, "Why?" And I'm like, "I'm running around. Like we're taking out the trash. We're cleaning, going back and forth." So it's like I stay warm because that like my body already runs warmer. You know?
Yeah, that makes sense, man. How do you do most vendors reach out to you, or you reach out to them?
I would say it's like 50-50 because we have our regulars that are there like week after week after week. So like Chiloso Gummy Bear, she was actually probably like one of our first ever vendors because she had signed up with us back when it was the Mission Hills Art Circuit.
Oh wow.
El Chaparitos Tacos, they started with us during the second night market event, and they've been with us ever since. So like vendors like that, Los Cochinitos, Mr. and Mrs. Potato, like we have our regulars that they're there 90% of the time, you know. So with them, it's just checking in. Like if they get like a big catering, they might not be able to make it if they get sick, but for the most part, like those vendors are there week after week. So it's just a matter of like sending their invoice or sending the payment reminders. Other vendors,
is that pretty tough? Like the payment, like some people,
it's pretty straightforward for the most part. Like Zelle, we're starting to use Sidewalk, so we're going to be transitioning everything to Sidewalk, where it's just easier to have it all in one place. Because right now, like I'll do like Zelle and Venmo, but then I have to like log everything into the spreadsheets. So I'm trying to like work on more structure to save time. So we're going to be using Sidewalk that we're partnering with for all of our vendor applications. So we're already using them for the card show, and it's made it a lot simpler.
Smooth, huh?
Yeah. And then for when vendors reach out to us, we'll send them like our schedule. They're like, "Oh, like we want to sign up for these days." And then I have a quota per week. So once our regulars sign up, and then once the vendors that have reached out to us sign up, I'll look at the list and I'll be like, "Okay, like, well, what categories are missing?" So if we're missing, like, let's say if we have no,
so you have categories, that you target, for your market. That's pretty
so, like,
smart.
Let's say if like 1 week, if we don't have a vendor that has like crystal jewelry, if we don't have a collectible vendor, I'll be like, okay, we have a gap for this category. Let me reach out to 10 to 50 vendors from that category, and odds are if I reach out to 50 vendors within one category, odds are one of them will sign up for it. So we always kind of like look at that because I don't want to just like start reaching out to every single vendor, because if I already have like a vendor that does crocheting or a vendor that does pens, I don't want to try. I try to avoid booking two of the same as much as possible.
That makes sense.
Sometimes we don't have a choice because like I have to make sure the event costs are covered too. Or if it's a day, if we're booking the full parking lot, if we're anticipating 60 vendors, I'll allow two of the same because then there's enough space to separate them. Yeah. But if we're only
you got the first row,
we have
you got the middle rows, right? And then you got the back row, and then you could do the side row.
Yeah.
Right?
So we have the 4 rows. Like during the winter months, it slows down a bit on foot traffic. So I try to keep it to just the 2 rows. But during the summer months, I know our foot traffic goes up where it's like, okay, now I could justify having two vendors of a category.
That makes a lot of sense, man. And who was your first ever vendor, bro? Who was it? Like the first one who paid, who signed up at the 818 night market?
So the one that's been with us the longest, I would say, is Chiloso Gummy Bear, because she was with us back during the art circuit days, and she's still with us now.
That's so cool.
And other than that, like, I can't remember the very first vendor that signed up for the first event. Like, I have a list of vendors.
Oh, you have a list of it? Oh,
like,
wow.
I have a list of vendors.
You remember your first night market? Were you excited, nervous?
Oh, I think I was nervous for it, but I was excited because, like, I didn't know how I was going to.
How many vendors did you have the first time?
We had about 38, almost 40 there.
Snaps.
Yeah, but back then it was like we were coming right out of COVID, so everyone was eager to go out.
Wow.
And it was crazy because that night...
What's the most you've had? 60?
So the most we've ever had in one night was 97 vendors.
No way.
Yeah, that was back when we were doing events up in Santa Clarita.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Dude, that's insane, dude.
Yeah.
That's a lot of work, bro.
It is.
It's a lot, dude.
But I love it.
I'm sure you do, bro. I mean, you've been doing it for like 5 years, bro. That's insane, man. Any challenges you face at the moment as a host? Anything that you know?
I would say just like changing times. Like in any business, you need to be ready to adapt, because in business, like if you can't adapt with the changes, it's sink or swim.
Yeah.
You know, so like over the years, like when we first started, I had called the health department and asked a bunch of questions about like permits, licenses, and they're like, "Oh, well, since you're at a church location, since you work with nonprofits, 5 years ago they were a lot more lenient with things like that because it was like private property, so the permits worked a little bit different." But now, like the more events that have popped up, every year it's like the health department, like they send out different changes, there's different rules.
Oh, that's crazy.
Like every 3 months we have to submit our renewals, and there's always different changes that they want. But what's the struggle with that part, whenever you call any government office, health department, fire marshal,
I can already imagine
whoever you're talking to on the phone, you could call one day, and let's say if you're talking to Sally and then the next day you're talking to Vanessa, they're going to give you different information. And you're like, well, who do I listen to?
Yeah.
And then you file your paperwork, you think everything's good. And then the day of inspector shows up and they're like, you don't have this. And I'm like, well, when I talked to so-and-so on the phone, they're like, oh, that person oversees the paperwork. So like one of the biggest frustrations when we had to start dealing with all of the health department stuff was that we were actually told from one of the supervisors from the health department, they're like, oh, well, it's at the discretion of the reviewer. And I was like, well, what if the reviewer that oversees the paperwork in the office and the reviewer that comes to do the day of inspection, what if their discussions are different? I'm like, what do I do then? They're like, that it's at their discretion.
Wow.
And I'm like, okay, so it's basically just follow it as correctly as we possibly can and hope for the best.
Wow. Dude.
Yeah, but it's like every couple weeks, like we get a phone call and it's something new that changes, and cost of things going. Like 5 years ago, we were like I said, we were the first event that opened up, like in the valley, out of COVID.
A night market, right? Yeah.
And now it's also like the times are so different now because there's also so many other events happening within like a certain radius of us. So out of all the years doing this has been, it kind of goes hand in hand because it's like the more events, the more vendors start coming out, you know? So because the people see that it's trending. So it's kind of like, it kind of balances out in a way.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like some vendors start getting splits, like the more events pop up. And that's where like I went wrong last year because we were hosting 4 events per week. And what I realized is like
4 events meaning
Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Oh,
and each event was at a different location. But what I realized when I was doing that last year, or even like I think it was 3 years ago, I used to double book. So I would host 2 events at the same time on Saturday. But then what I noticed when I was doing that a few years ago, I was competing against myself for the same pool of vendors. So there was times where it's like I would have 30 vendors at this location, 30 vendors at this location, and I'm paying the rent at both locations. I'm paying staff at both locations, but I could have just fit all of those vendors into the same event. So that's where I learned like I need to dial it back if I'm operating in the same area, because it gets to a point where you're competing for the same vendors, you're competing for the same foot traffic. So it's something where if you're doing it within an immediate area, it's very hard to scale it. from there, you know, because there's only so many vendors in our immediate area that will sign up for events, and with so many competing events, that's something that you have to keep an eye on. Like every year, like I'm friends with the guy that runs the Watermelon Festival.
Oh, up here in
Hanson Dam.
Hanson
Yeah.
Dam.
So a lot of our regular food vendors, they'll go with him for that event.
Okay.
So it's like I need to plan ahead for weekends like that because I already know like that's one of the largest events that takes place in the valley every year. Or like when Granada Hills, they close down the street for Oktoberfest.
Yeah.
So like that's another big like local event that time frame wise it overlaps with my Saturdays. So we need to plan ahead for weekends like that because it's like, okay, a lot of our regular vendors are going to be out.
So you just cancel most of the time?
We don't cancel, but I just need to plan further out, further ahead, find replacements if some of our regulars are going to be there, start reaching out to our wait list to fill the gaps for different categories.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things where there's so much competition, but it's also a good thing too because then the vendors have more places to go. There's more for people to experience.
Yeah.
But in this line of work, you need to be prepared for those changes, whether it's permit changes, regulation changes. You need to be prepared for weather, wind, rain. You need to have backup plans for all of that.
Oh, wow, dude. What's been the most devastating thing that's happened, man, is like you're setting up, it starts raining, it starts getting windy, maybe it gets hot. I mean,
I would say the absolute worst weather is the wind. Because like rain, like, yeah, things will get wet. Rain slows down foot traffic. People's products might get damaged, but products could get replaced, you know? My biggest fear is the wind. So there's been times where even with the vendors have like proper weights on their canopies, if the gust of wind comes strong enough and starts flipping canopies, it becomes a safety concern.
Oh.
So there was one event a few years ago, the wind gust got so strong, it actually started flipping tables.
Oh,
and
wow.
like one of the candle vendors, all of her candles fell and shattered. There was broken glass everywhere. So the wind is always the biggest concern because that's a safety issue. Like the last thing we need.
Yeah, it's unpredictable.
Yeah, the last thing we need is like a canopy to go flying and someone get hurt.
Yeah.
So that's why like if we do stay open on a somewhat windy day, I'll tell the vendors like, hey, like we can still set up, but you can't put the top of your canopy on because like the last thing we need is one to flip over.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Man, that's crazy, dude. So there are also factors. Some of the things that factor in is like maybe like a lawsuit. You ever have like somebody trying to sue you like, hey man, I fell, nothing?
No.
Man, that's good.
Luckily,
bro.
knock on wood, we've never had anything like
that's
that.
crazy.
But
ever had like a threat like, hey man, I got sick from one of your food vendors. I'm gonna try it. That's so good, bro.
No. At the end of the day, like anything like that would be between them and the food vendor directly because the food vendors, they're responsible for keeping their stuff up to code.
Got it.
You know?
So it doesn't fall on your lap.
Yeah, and that's why like I always pay attention. Like whenever we get new food vendors, like I always pay attention to like how they cook, how they keep their stuff stored.
Oh wow!
Because I want to make sure it's a good representation of the market. And like there's been times where like I've gone to markets in like other cities, other states, and it's some things you see are questionable. You know.
Yeah, that's crazy.
But at the end of the day, like people are gonna decide where they eat. Like I'm not forcing anyone. to do anything,
of course.
You know, so it's up to the people to determine where they want to eat, and if anything ever does happen, that's between them and the vendor, because the vendor was the one that did it. You know.
Yeah. Is there like a lot of well, not pressure, but like a lot of not responsibility? What's that word? Like. People look forward to like, hey man, I'm gonna event at the 818 night market. Do you feel like you like an expectation? Is there like a big expectation for you sometimes? Like, man, dude, this has to either crack off or like, man, dude, like for card shows, maybe the mini market, maybe the 818 night market.
So I would say like the main thing is like, especially with like certain like clothing brands or certain vendors that are used to more of like the convention scene. Let's say, right?
Yeah.
So if like a clothing brand shows up or a vendor that's used to the convention scene shows up, like you go to a convention to sell your collectibles, like there's probably going to be buyers there that are going to be buying like $300, $400, $500 pieces from you. You know, you're paying $400 or $500 for your booth for the weekend at the convention.
Yeah.
You sell one big item, you have your booth fee back.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Versus like our market where it's that like people are looking to spend that $5 to $20 range, but you show up like it's a convention. And that's where it comes down to the fact, like, people are like, oh, like, I thought there was going to be more people here. I thought I was going to do better. And I'm like, well, you got to understand the demographic. Like, you show up and you're selling, like, $90 hoodies. Like, you got to look at the demographic of where you're at, you know?
People get pissed at you for that?
a few times over the years,
Yeah.
but like there's other times where people like understand. Like I've talked with some vendors that are like, hey, like I was like, how was your night with us? They're like, oh, it was slower than I expected. They're like the foot traffic was decent. They're like, I just don't think it's my demographic. And you know, it's like vendors need to understand that like they're not going to do good everywhere they go.
That makes
you know?
sense. Yeah.
Like there was one event, because I do laser engraving.
Yeah.
There was one event that I signed up was a sneaker show. Like it was all shoe vendors. I was the only non-shoe vendor there. But it worked in my favor because these guys are dropping $300-$400 on shoes.
Yeah.
And all of my products are like $5 to $10. So everyone that bought a pair of shoes, they bought a $5 pin off of me. So like that one went well for me.
Yeah.
But there's been like other shows that I've gone to where I'll pay a couple $100 for the booth fee and I don't sell anything.
Yeah.
So I always tell vendors, like, any show you do, you're going to walk away with one of four things. Obviously, the ultimate goal, you're there to make money. That's number one, you know?
Yeah.
If you don't walk away with money, you're either going to come out with a new connection, a story, or a learning experience.
Yeah. That's good. Yeah, it's good. Yeah, it's true.
With the night market, the biggest learning experience people have is I need weights for my canopy, or I need a way to have lights because it's a night market. It gets dark out, you know? People are like flies.
Yeah.
They're going to go to whatever booth's the biggest and brightest.
Bro.
Yeah.
Facts, bro.
So
Facts.
like there's times where vendors show up, they're like, I didn't sell anything. I'm like, you didn't even have lights in your booth. Like people couldn't see your shit, you know? Like
that's crazy. That is so true, bro.
Like in all my years of vending myself, like I would say like I prefer like money, learning experiences, those come and go.
Yeah.
You know, money comes and goes.
Yeah,
that
of course,
doesn't matter.
Yeah.
My favorite parts about vending and event coordinating is building connections and having stories to tell. Because like anywhere you go, you never know who you're going to meet. You never know who's going to stop by your booth.
Yeah.
Like there was one event that I was at and E40 came up to my booth. And I was like, this is really cool. You know, I got excited about it. So it's like, you never know who you're going to meet.
Yeah.
You never know what connection you're going to make. And I tell vendors, like, if someone comes up to your booth, strike up that conversation with them.
Yeah.
Even if they're not going to buy from you now, well, what if they don't get paid until next Friday?
Ooh.
So I explain that to a lot of the vendors when they're like, it's slow. I'm like, you can't think about vending as like for food vendors, obviously, like they need to sell their food. If not, it goes bad.
Of course, yeah, you can't really hold it or, you know.
But when it comes to like retails, merchandise, crafters, people like me that do manufacturing, you got to think about the networking side of it.
Yeah.
Because like if people come up to my booth and I'm like, hey, follow me on Instagram, they hit me up a week later like, hey, I just got paid. Do you still have this item?
Yeah.
Or they're like, hey, you do laser engraving. Like they'll hit me up 3-4 months later. Hey, do you do laser engraving? My cousin's wedding's coming up and I want to get them something custom with their date on it, you know? So you have to think about your business and the long-term growth, you know? So you have to make sure you're networking with people.
Yeah.
There was a book I read a few years ago. One of the quotes that stood out, it was, your network is your net worth.
Yeah.
And that always stuck with me.
Yeah.
Like the more people you connect with, the
more
better it is in the long term for your business.
100%, man. That's one thing that I learned about, you know, just vending and having connections, bro, is having a website.
Yeah.
And I've given out my sticker with my website. I've made more sales on eBay.
Yeah.
Because people just go on the website. It's a splash page. It has my Instagram, my Spotify, the eBay.
Yeah.
Simple. They go on the eBay. Oh, he has this for sale. Like you said, I sit on Pokemon keychains for like a long time, and then now they've been selling.
Yeah.
Because people saw it and they're like, oh, you gave me a sticker. I gave it to them for free. I have the
Yeah.
website. They went on there, and you just got to network, talk to people.
And what I tell a lot of vendors too, there's times where I tell vendors, I'm like, if you're not selling stuff, give stuff away. And they're like, why? Like, why would I do that? It costs me money. And I'm like, trust me, just give stuff out for free.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, like, if you want to build a relation with people, like, there's plenty of times people come up to my booth when I'm set up and I'll give them a hat for free. I'll give them a pin or a keychain for free. And they're like, oh, what's this for? And I'm like, oh, I was just enjoying the conversation. My gift to you. And they're like, oh, really? Thank you. But then they're more prone to become a regular customer after that.
Yep.
Because it puts them in the mindset of like, oh, he gave me a gift. Like, he
I
took
want to
care of me.
support
Like,
them.
I want to support
Yeah.
their business
Yeah,
further down the road.
100%.
So when you give out those gifts, whether it's stickers, keychains,
whatever it is,
it puts an impression on them. So like if they meet 30 vendors that night, you were the one that gave them something, they're going to remember you and they'll hit you up in a few weeks, few months, or they'll refer their friends. Like if they don't like your stuff, their friends might, you know?
Yeah, no, I completely agree 100%, man. How would you say, you know, considering there's so many, bro, even as many car shows as there is, there's so many pop-up shops that have come up. How do you try? I mean, you've been doing it for 5 years. How do you stay relevant, bro? Or how do you
Oh,
compete, man?
I would
Because
say, luckily for us, like we've been in the game for so long
yeah,
already, where we're established in the community. So for like Mission Hills, we've been there every single Saturday. We've been there for coming up on 5 years. So a lot of people that live in the area, like you've vended with us, like if you
yeah,
pay attention to where people are walking from, there's a lot of families
that
that
are locals.
they'll
Yeah.
walk from their house
Oh
to the
wow.
markets. Like they make it a thing to come out. They do it every Saturday.
Okay.
So I think we're at that point where we're consistently operating, but then obviously like we try doing like theme nights, we try adding like different features. Like every like once a month or once every 2 months, we'll try having like a dog theme night. We'll have like different dog bakeries come out. We'll have
I
like the
actually
pet
did see that. Yeah,
groomers.
yeah,
So we try doing different themes. When it's more of the summer months, we'll try doing like open mic, having some local bands come
yeah.
out because then they bring their crowd in too.
That's pretty cool.
If there's like sometimes we'll put out like the projector screen. I mean, a lot of other events do the same things, but it just comes down to like if there's an event here, if there's an event in Canoga Park, if there's an event in Woodland Hills, Tarzana,
Yeah.
all the different areas, there's enough out there for all of us to eat. So I think aside from like staying relevant, like we've been around for so long, but every area has people that live directly in that community. So a lot of people just go to what's closest to them.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, man. And as a business owner, what would you say that separates, your night market from everyone else's night market?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Yeah.
Well, I would say like for us, like we were the first ones that opened up in the valley.
Yeah.
So like we have that like in some of our marketing we put like the original Valley Night Market.
Okay.
So like we've been around for a minute, but I feel like what separates us is I try to make sure all of my vendors like kind of have that bond with each other, you know? Like I haven't attended a lot of other night markets myself recently, so like I don't know how things have changed over the years within other events.
Yeah.
But what I pride myself on, like, 'cause when I used to vend a lot, I used to vend at like 7 or 8 events per week.
Oh my goodness.
But a lot of
that's
events
crazy.
I go to, like, you would sense like the hostility between vendors. And what I enjoy is
Yeah.
seeing the fact that some of our vendors hang out with each other outside of the events.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Like they'll go grab a beer together, they'll go grab lunch together. So a lot of our vendors, like they see each other every Saturday. Their booths are next to each
They
other.
became
So
friends.
they became friends. Like that's
That's
something
cool.
that I think I'm really prideful about our events is seeing how the community has grown and the vendors have grown with each other. And like I know a lot of other night markets, a lot of other events have started popping up more and more over the years.
Yeah.
And I hope that those night markets have that same growth with the communities that they're building, that their vendors
Yeah.
will become friends with each other too.
Yeah. No, that's
'Cause,
very
like, the
important.
community, when they attend, they sense that. Like,
Yeah.
it builds the community and it's a better feeling overall in the atmosphere.
Yeah, 100%, man. Changing it up a little bit, man. Who makes it better? In-N-Out fries, bro, or McDonald's fries, bro?
Well, it depends on like the time frame because I think because I feel like McDonald's fries have gone downhill over the years. So I'd say currently it has to be In-N-Out fries.
In-N-Out fries, but McDonald's fries were good, right? There was at some point. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah,
I've
I mean,
heard.
I used to be an assistant manager at McDonald's, so I feel like I reached a point where like I just got tired of eating there every day.
Yeah. So you say In-N-Out fries?
Yeah.
That sounds good, bro. In-N-Out is good, bro. Sometimes I just go get the fries,
But
animal
if
style. But
if it's coming to fries, bro, I got a few spots in Silmar.
for real?
I gotta go get the Papa Nachos, bro.
where's that? Is that the one off of? There's some really good ones off of by the Bank of America, a little food truck, bro.
I've been to that truck. I'll go to I'm blanking on the names. There's one on Polk.
Okay.
Right by I forgot what school's right there.
Silmar High.
Yeah, there's one on Polk by Silmar High, and then there's one on Hubbard and Foothill.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right
I
there
gotta
on the
check that out.
corner. Yeah.
I gotta check that out, man. What's been your biggest regret, man, up until this point? About your night market.
I would say like there's been times where I would put too much on my plate. I wouldn't pace myself because like I always had that ultimate goal of the event operating.
Because you have a daughter, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. You're a full-time dad, part-time
Yeah.
dad, full-time.
I have 50-50 custody.
That's
So
cool.
like I have her every other weekend. I have her every day after school. So I would say like I learned to pace myself over the years. You know,
Dude.
like there was a point where I was really pushing. There was a point where we were hosting 6 events per week.
Oh my goodness.
Like we were
bro.
doing, we were hosting at Mission Hills Church. We were hosting at a church in North Hollywood, a church in Reseda, and doing events every weekend in Santa Clarita as well. The ones in Santa Clarita were 3 days. So like every week we were doing 6 events per week for a bit. And I ran like that for like 4, almost 5 months. But it reached a point where like I just burned out. Because even though I had staff, I had people helping me, like I was still responsible for it. So it's constant phone calls like, hey, I need this, hey, I need this, constantly driving back and forth.
My goodness.
So I think my biggest regret was just like not pacing myself. And that's something that I realized again last year. Like we were doing events Thursday through Sunday.
Yeah.
And what I realized doing so many events, because that was always my goal for the night market, but doing so many events, like just operating Thursday through Sunday, like all of those expenses, all of those rents, all of the staffing, it all adds up so quick. And I was spreading myself too thin where I didn't have time, as much time as I wanted for my daughter.
Yeah.
I didn't have as much time for like myself, the other things I need to do, my other business, because I still do my laser engraving. So I learned last year I need to dial it back. So that's why this year we were just focused on doing the card show and the night market at Mission Hills, the mini market at the brewery. And as far as events, like I just want to keep it that way. Just doing those events each month because then I have the rest of my schedule free and it gives me a better balance.
Yeah. And then the cards once a month is cool because it's like once a month is not that bad.
Yeah.
Because you try to push it like every week, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Like,
especially like that's the category where I feel like there's so many other events popping up for it.
I feel like it just came out of nowhere, bro. Like so many card shows. I'm like, oh my goodness.
It's definitely grown over the years because I've been collecting Pokemon since I was 3. So like I grew up buy, sell, trade. And it's funny because like me and a few of my buddies, we were talking about it and like there's times where there's vendors that have told us like, oh, like we're OGs in this. We've been doing it for a while. I'm like, oh, how long have you been vending for? Or like, how long have you been doing cards for? They're like, oh, 8 months.
Oh, jeez.
And me and my buddies start laughing. They're like, what's funny? And I'm like, I've been collecting since I was 3. I've been doing buy, sell, trade since I was 14.
Yeah.
So it's like, I've been doing the buy, sell, trade aspect of cards for 17 years. So it's like, you're telling me you're an OG in this hobby and you're hearing it for 8 months, bro?
That's hilarious, man. Are there any things you wish you could have done different, bro, up until this point? You know, for your night markets?
Again, I think it comes down to like just not spreading myself so thin. Because like there was times where like I was dealing with a lot of like personal stuff too. And trying to balance like personal life. And I had just put too much on my plate.
Oh, wow.
So I feel like if I would have dialed back the amount I had at my plate, I feel like things would have been a little bit more consistent during those times. Because there was times where like I noticed like there was kind of like a falling off and I was like, okay, like, no, like I need to start making changes. There was a few moments where I had like those wake up calls where it's like, okay, I'm doing something wrong. Like I need to reflect and see what I could change up and start doing different. Yeah.
I see. If you can think of one thing that you had to sacrifice up to this point to get here, I mean, you're going on your 5-year anniversary.
Yeah.
What would that one thing be that you had to sacrifice?
I think it was a lot of time and a lot of sleepless nights.
Oh, snaps.
Yeah, because a lot of people, like, when they look at the markets, like, let's just say we're just looking at our original location, Mission Hills. We've been there the full 5 years, right? A lot of people see it like, oh, you're open Saturdays 5 to 10. People think I'm only working Saturday 5 to 10. They don't see everything else that goes into it. They don't see the late nights. They don't see when the bad things happen. Like, there was one event we did last year.
Yeah.
A homeless guy set one of our portable toilets on fire.
Oh.
And that was before I owned my own toilets. So the rental company held me liable. So I had to pay to replace it. And it's like people don't see all of the back end stuff that goes into it. They don't see how much time we spend creating the content, editing, doing the flyers, creating the group chats, doing the outreach, the promoting, the amount of emails, the amount of DMs. And just all of the time that goes into it, it very quickly becomes like 60 to 70 hours per week. And a lot of people just think like, oh, you work 5 to 10 on Saturdays. Like, no, just Saturdays alone is a 12-hour day.
Yeah. By the time you know, when you pull up, I'm sure you have vendors who show up early, right? Not at 3, like at 2, maybe 12, maybe 1. Yeah. That want to be there.
Yeah, and I always tell the vendors, like, they're like, why can't we set up already here? And I'm like, because I have stuff I have to do to prep for the event before I could let you guys start just setting everything up.
That's crazy, man.
Yeah,
so just time you think you sacrifice?
Yeah,
and sleepless nights, huh?
It's a lot of time, especially because like there's been times like when a lot of like the permits started changing. There was a point where one of the permits had expired. because the health department didn't submit our renewal on time. Like I submitted everything on time on my end, and there was a moment where we had 3 weeks where we couldn't have our food booths there.
Oh.
So we were only...
They come in and check up?
Yeah.
To see if what happens. Let's just say worst case scenario. Let's just say your permit's expired and you have a food vendor. What happens?
It really depends on the day of inspector. Because they could be chill. They're like, hey, we'll let you slide this time, but don't do it again.
What if they're like pissed?
If it's one of the ones that's more of like an asshole, they could be like, oh, this vendor needs to go home. Do they fine you? They could. There's potential fines. I think like one of the fines, it's $100 fine or like a $500 fine.
Oh, snaps.
But in the wording on the forms, it says per occurrence. So like if you get one that's like really strict and uptight, the per occurrence. If you have like 6 vendors there, it's
500 per
occurrence. So like that's why I like always make sure like we keep everything up to date. But sometimes the health department gets backed up. So there was a moment like food trucks, they carry their own permitting. Versus the booths, they have to get it per event, per location. So there was a moment where we had 3 weeks of only just having food trucks there instead. This was maybe like 2 or 3 years ago. And I had to take out a loan during that time. Because that was 3 weeks of those vendors that weren't there. And if they're not there, they're not paying their booth fees.
Yeah.
You know, but I still had operating costs. I still had to pay the rent. I still had to pay bills. I still had to pay payroll. I still had all the operating expenses of the event. So there's been times, I think in the last 5 years, there's been times where I've taken out loans just to keep the night market open. Wow. And that's something that people don't see. They don't see that struggle. Yeah. Like there was times where like I looked at the bank account and I'm like, I don't know how this is going to stay open. Because like when we were hosting 6 events per week, there was a couple weeks where the rent added up to more than what we had coming in. Several weeks back to back like that, you start hemorrhaging money after a while. And it's like, okay, like I need to start dropping these contracts. But like once you sign those contracts, you're liable for it once you, if
regardless,
you have
rain or shine.
Yeah. So I think like the worst year I had, there was a point where I had to take out an $18,000 loan just to make sure everything was paid. And
for a month, for 2 months, for 3 months, for how long? 18. What did that cover?
That pretty much at that point, because that was around the time we were doing 6 events per week, that covered us for maybe like 1 month, like maybe like a month to like 5 weeks. But then it's like the amount of time it took to recover from that alone after. Yeah,
of course, because you have to make profit, pay their loan off. That's crazy,
and that's the part like people don't.
Were you almost discouraged? Like, hey, man, I think this is it. This is our last run.
Yeah, there's been a few times over the years where it's like it's the amount of time, the amount of effort, the amount of money that goes into keeping it running.
Do you get discouraged too? Sometimes you're just like, hey, man, you know what? I'm burned out. I'm doing this because I mean, I'm sure people don't realize you're basically helping out their business. That's what ultimately organizers do is you help people make money. Yeah. And sometimes people are ungrateful. They're like, you know what? Have you ever came to a point where you're just like, you know what, man? I'm not even doing this for me. I get it. I'll make money off of this, but I'm helping you. Why am I doing this? You ever like throwing in the towel?
There's been a few moments like that. Like there's been times. I actually had a conversation with someone last year that was interested in purchasing the night market from me. Oh snap! And like I had a ballpark number of like what I would ask.
What's that number if you were to sell it today, right now?
If I was to sell
if I just said, hey man, I got the cash in my backpack right now. How much? How much, Brandon?
I think it'd probably be somewhere between like 100,000 to 250,000. Okay. Just because like the weight of the name now, with like what our social media presence is, our follower count, the value that comes with our contracts. Like I know like what I'm able to like pay my staff. I know how much the locations cost to run. So I think that would be the number where I would consider selling it, because at that point it's like, okay, I could pay off my debts, the market will still be running, and then I'll have enough for a down payment on a property that I want to buy, have a house, and invest into whatever my next business is. Because if I was to sell, like I have my night market, I have my laser engraving. So it's like if I was to sell the night market, I would have to have enough left over to start something new.
Of course.
You know, because I always knew I wanted to be a business owner. But I know like my asking price is high, but that's because that's the only way it would make sense for me to get rid of it. Because at the end of the day, like even
let's just say in a year, right? Yeah. In a year, let's just say someone buys it in a year, how much money can they potentially make if they push the envelope the way you're pushing the envelope?
I think...
And let's just say every Saturday, someone could get 60 vendors. how much could they potentially make if you were to sell it for $250K? How much can they make in a year?
See, I think it just depends on like the team that they have access to.
And they had the greatest team. They had the undefeated team.
Because like
the dream team.
For me, I wanted to dial it back to just be Friday, Saturday, you know? But let's say if they had a team where they're capable of expanding further out, expand to other cities, add more contracts. 'Cause I feel like with our follower count and our presence currently, it's easy for us to like land new contracts, because when venues see like, oh, they have almost 50,000 followers, that they know it'll be additional foot traffic for their venue, you know? So I think it would just depend on like the person, but there's definitely the possibility of like if someone invested like 200,000 to purchase the name and take over completely, they could definitely make that back within like 1 to 3 years.
Oh wow.
Yeah, just because like if they pushed like, for me, like I have my daughter to think about. You know, she's my priority. I'm gonna spend as much time with her as I can. But now if it was like single guy, like late 20s, early 30s, like around the same age as me, but he has no kid, no family, he like has no other responsibilities, and he has that like 18 hours a day free to just like hustle, push, like they could handle doing 5 events per week. They could handle doing 6 events per week. You know?
Yeah. Man, dude. How much longer would you say you're going to run the night market, or is this one of those things like until the wheels fall off, bro?
I think it would come down to that point of there has to be a point where I start stepping back, you know? Yeah. Because my long-term goal for my retirement plan, at least, is to own multiple businesses. And that's my retirement plan. I want to have it to the point where I have my team, they run the businesses without me, you know? So I think for the night market, it'll either reach that point where I fully step away from it and my team keeps running it for me, and then I'll just check in occasionally, be like, hey, like, how's it going? Like, what's the update? Or eventually I might sell it one day, you know? Because, like, I'm 31 right now.
Oh, you're still young, bro. You make it sound like you're like 50. Well, you're still young, man. So you started like 26? That's crazy.
I've been working for 21 years. I started working when I was 10 years old.
Oh, my goodness,
So,
bro.
like, I was labeling Halloween makeup in a factory at the age of 10. So I've always had that hustle mentality, you know? But it's like by the time I'm 50 or 60... I'm not going to want to be out there telling vendors like, hey, set up your booth here, do this, you know?
Of course not.
So we'll see what the future holds, you know? Because like, I don't know what permit regulations are going to change over the years. I don't know if markets will be allowed.
Yeah. I mean, considering inflation, bro, I'm sure people consider that a lot, right? Being a vendor, like, man, dude, it's getting expensive, dude. This getting expensive, that's getting expensive, you know? Like, a burrito now is like, it used to be like $4 or $5. Now it's like 10, sometimes $20. You're like, bro, $20 for a burrito? That's insane, right? Yeah. And it has to make sense for you, where, you know, you're like you say, your long-term goal, you just step back, let everything run smoothly. But then again, I think it's hard to find that one person who's going to run it as much as you are, right?
Yeah, because at the end of the day, it's like, it's my baby.
That's what I was going to say. That's your baby. You know? You built it. Like, so, no one's going to care as much as you are.
And that's the thing with like the staff that I have at the events when I'm not there. You know, like, each of them are kind of at like different points, because like obviously I can't hire someone like full time because we're only open 1 day a week right now, you know. So I have different guys that they'll work for me, and some of my guys, like, if I was to throw my phone in a blender and throw the blender off a cliff, I know one of my guys, he's got it so down pat, nothing's gonna go wrong. Like, he'll handle it. Like, he's the type, he'll call me Monday and he'll be like,
is that the one that was at the card show?
Huh? I'm not gonna throw names out there for my staff.
No, I get it. Go for it.
So like one of the guys, he's been with me for a bit. Like, he knows how I handle things, so he'll call me on like the Monday after the event. He's like, "Hey, this happened. This is what I did to handle it." I'm like, "Perfect. I would have done the same thing." Okay. Versus some of my other guys, like, they call for every little thing. But it's like, if I was to ever fully step away.
Also, you sometimes do step away.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah, because like there's times like when my daughter has her birthday party, family things are going on. You know, like I learned the hard way. Like, I worked 7 days a week for so many years. Like, there was a point, like, I really burned out. And there was a time where, like, I learned, like, you have to take those breaks. You have to take that time off and reset. And, like, because then you're able to look at it with the fresh fresh set of eyes, you know?
Of course,
Yeah.
man. So you technically you kind of are stepping back a little bit, right?
A little bit,
little by little.
Yeah, I try to take off at least like one weekend per month now, which is something I've never done before.
That's pretty
But
cool.
then it's also like giving my staff the chance to develop their skills for them to build the rapport with the vendors, and then that way, like, if I get like one staff member that kind of like, hey, like I want to take it over one day, you know, but like that's what I said, like I'll run it till the wheels fall off. But ideally, it would either reach a point where my staff could start running it without me, or someday potentially sell it down the road. You know,
that's cool, man. One last question, man. Anything you want to say, bro, before we end the podcast, bro?
I would say whether you want to start an event or whether you want to start any type of business, vendor, do your research. Think about like what your demographic is. And don't let yourself get discouraged. Like we'll all hit the point of getting discouraged, but it's about pushing through. Like you're gonna hit those bad days. You're gonna have those days. Like there's been times where I've broken down crying from all the stress and pressure. You know, and that's something like a lot of business owners don't openly talk about. Yeah. But I would say no matter what, if you have a dream for something, worst case scenario, like for me, my worst case scenario, if the night market went under, I go back to a 9-to-5 job. That's the worst case scenario, you know, versus like some of my buddies that have 9-to-5s, they'll tell me they'll be like, oh, like, what if I start something and like it doesn't succeed? And I'm like, well, for me, it's like I started something. My worst case scenario is already your reality, you know?
That's
so, like,
good.
If you have a dream,
really good, bro.
If you have a dream, push for it. Make it happen.
Chase your dream.
Chase the dream. Because like I said, most people get stuck in a 9-to-5 they hate. So it's like, my worst case scenario is already the reality that so many people live.
That's true.
You know, so anything that you want to do, anything you want to set your mind to, I would rather be that man that when I hit like 80 years old, I want to be the one that has stories to tell. I did this, I tried
I'm
this.
the same way, bro.
Like, I don't want to be that 80-year-old man that's like, what if I would have done this? What if I would have done that? Life's too short. Go out there, take the risk, try it out. You'll never know until you try. Worst case scenario, you come out of it with a story.
Yeah. That's true, bro. Man, that's some good pointer. That's some good advice, bro. Because like, in the same way, I don't ever want to go back and think about like, well, what would have happened, right? Yeah. If I would have done things differently. I don't want to live with that what if, bro. Yeah. You know, and I like right now at the moment, you know, I currently don't own a house, bro. Yeah. But I've gone to different parts of the world. Yeah. That I want to have cool stories. I may not have a house, but at least I'll be in my retirement home telling everyone where I went. Yeah. You know, and that's something that no one can take away from me. Exactly. They can take away my house, they can take away my cars, but the stories, bro. Yeah. Like you said, you'll come out with a story. Yeah.
And that's why I tell the vendors, like worst case scenario, you have a story to tell. Yeah. You know?
Yeah. 100%, man. Well, Brandon, thank you so much, bro.
Thank you for having me, bro.
For coming down, dude, and sharing some knowledge, bro. And you know, when's your next 818 Card Show, bro? Where can people follow you? First of all, where can people follow you, man?
A lot of places.
All right, there you go. Drop them, bro.
Just don't follow me home. You can follow me on Instagram. It's the 818 Night Market, 818 Mini Markets, 818 Card Show, and Laserjacks Co.
Ah, nice, man. And when's the next card show?
Next card show is March 20th and 21st. It's our first time doing a 2-day card show. And this one we're doing as a fundraiser, so we're going to be raising money for Autism Speaks.
Oh, nice, bro. And if someone wants to sign up, can you have to sell cards, or can it be collectibles? I mean, how?
So for the card show, obviously the focus is trading cards. Okay. That's the demographic we're advertising to. Cool. We will let collectible vendors sign up for it, but just come with that mindset. Again, know your demographic. Like if you show up with all G.I. Joes and you're like, why didn't I sell anything? Well, it's a trading card show. Yeah, man. It's very heavily focused on Pokemon and One Piece. We do get some sports vendors. And I've noticed, because it's going to be, I think, our 5th card show. So I've noticed each time the sports vendors have picked up a little bit. So we're seeing more diversity with that. So
sounds good, man. Well, thank you, Brandon.
Thank you, bro.
Everybody follow him. I'll drop all his information, description down below. And thank you for sticking until the end of this podcast. We'll catch you on the next one. 818 Night Market, Retro Ground out, guys. Thank you.
Thank you.